Moving to the online tests, in 1080, there's a tiny edge for the 5090, less than a 1% higher average FPS, slightly better lows. Again, it's basically a wash, it's smooth on both cards. In 1440 online, the results mirror the offline test. The 5090 is barely ahead, 0.7% higher average FPS and small gains in lows. In 4K online, again, I'd call it a wash. The 5090 has very slightly higher numbers with 2% higher average FPS and slightly higher numbers in lows. In 4K with 2x sampling online, the 5090 starts to flex again, 22% higher average FPS with gains in lows as well. In 4K 4x sampling online, the 5090 really shines, 63% higher average FPS and massive improvements in lows. This is true next level performance. All right, now we're going to take a quick look at GPU usage and power draw. I didn't really bother showing 1080 and 1440 here because we're still CPU limited there. I started at 4K where we're beginning to approach and hit the GPU limits. So at 4K offline, the 5090 is cruising at just 54% usage while pulling 363 watts. That's compared to the 4090 sitting at 77% usage at 333 watts. So even in native 4K, the 5090 isn't really breaking a sweat, while the 4090 is working a bit harder here. Once we step up to 4K with 2x sampling, both cards are near full utilization. The 5090 hits 97% usage at 572 watts, while the 4090 is maxing out at 99% usage and 442 watts. This is where we start to see the 5090's higher power envelope being tapped into. At 4K 4x sampling, both GPUs are pegged at 100% utilization and we're GPU limited on both cards. The 5090 again is pulling an insane 577 watts, while the 4090 is capped at 448. Going online in native 4K where the CPU is even more limited, the 5090 is still coasting, just 46% usage at 318 watts. The 4090, meanwhile, is at 67% usage at 294 watts. Again, the 5090 just showing it has tons of unused horsepower at this resolution. At 4K with 2x sampling online, the 5090 ramps up to 83% usage at 512 watts, while the 4090 is pretty much maxed at 98% usage and 441 watts. This is where the gap in efficiency and headroom starts to show. And finally, in 4K with 4x sampling online, both cards are fully tapped, 5090 at 98% usage and 575 watts, while the 4090 is at 99% and 447 watts. This really shows the difference between the two cards.